Um, Today we'll talk about tracking. We will see how tracking is implemented in a scene. Uh, the tracking is actually has come from something of motion camera tracking. In the olden films, they used to do certain visual effects by some technique called motion camera tracking, where the camera is actually have a motorized. It's a motorized camera where it might go to and fro at the same speed in the same direction. Uh, that is pre-programmed. And with the same pre-programmed camera, they would take multiple shots of the subject, any other object that need to be incorporated in the scene. So there they would mix up and then get the same feel of compositing. Uh, Now, this later uh, computerized, and initially this was built by the US military forces. They were able to track certain missiles. That's how they were working on this algorithm of tracking. So after that, it had come to the Philips. Now, this tracking, what is about tracking? Now tracking is a process where you would tend to find the motions object, uh, the motion of the subject, and as well as uh, the motion of the subject, and as well as you tend to synchronize certain elements there. That means you would place certain elements there according to the motion of the subject, and maybe you can do the scene. Otherwise, certain times we'll actually even calibrate the motion of the camera in that particular scene. In this different contexts, they use this tracking system. Certain times they would calibrate the motion, the object that is there in the in the scene. That is maybe a car going, and we want to track it, track the number plate and change the number plate in with with other states, suppose, and then you would use the tracking, and then you would change the number plate. Otherwise, if you wanted to place certain object in a scene where the camera is already worked in certain motion, even there we calibrate. Now, all this certain lot of times these calibrations might go wrong. There will be certain mismatches. In the olden days, the few years before, they used to do a lot of manual tracking. They used to do lots of manual tracking by tracking those um, by tracking frame by frame, maybe certain difficult situations or scenes. They would use manual tracking. But as it is refined day by day, uh, we were able to uh, uh, come across, we were able to solve lots of issues, and then now the system is robust. But there are times it is impossible to track. So the senior VFX supervisors, they would certain times choose a manual tracking, and it is an tough job to do that. Anyways, uh, in tracking, the very important point is the footage. How well your footage and how it is shot is very important. And in the footage, the details, how the details were, and you have certain features that are very distinct from other sources in the footage are very important. I think that's where you could see certain tracking marks that are behind of every green screen footage. So basically, for all this, for any set extensions or for placing any objects according to the motion of the subject, or to place any 3D object. So for all this, things we require tracking, and tracking is mostly widely used in all this because nowadays in all these films we see that there is lots of set extensions are being done, or certain times the production mistakes would be there, or certain times it has to be dubbed in different languages. Um, so in all this, they would do lots of tracking work, and it's enough. Now, here we see a footage that is the this particular subject is actually moving, and of course I've copied this in another composition. So this is a she is moving. Now I have to track her motion and attach the elements, different other elements. Maybe it's text, maybe it's something of this beauty care products I wanted to attach to her motion. Now, for that, um, in this footage, I would see certain very important feature that could help me out to system to identify this is very important, and then track this motion. Uh, so for that reason, I think I would choose definitely uh, one minute. I think I would choose definitely um, her eye. I think after multiple iterations, previously I was trying to do with certain portion of the eyebrows, but they were not very dark. We need a very much very distinct particular one singular point that could actually track. I think if we just check it here, something of this sort, which is very distinct, and which can be identified, which can be read by the system. It doesn't have a background with lots of other distractions. So this all need to be in the count of the tracking. And if this doesn't have any distinct uh, differentiation, then there'll be a problem in tracking. So that's where let's see this tracking. Now, I'll just go for this. Of course, the tracking that tracking is available here also. We can click here and then get the tracking. Once I get the tracking, I would choose track motion. For now, I'm just tracking the 2D tracker, and we call this footage as a plate. Whenever we are working on any of the VFX footage, we call it as a plate. So as I'm working on this plate, I'm actually choosing track motion, and I go to a separate window. Now I get a separate window, and then I am actually gonna pull this. No, I'm gonna pull this. No, that's also. Let me go to the window. Yeah, I'm going to grab well. So now I am able to uh, hold this tracking point exactly to the eye, where I see the eye is perfect for me. It's completely dark, and as well as this is the inner bound circle, or the square, and this is the outer boundary. This thing. Very important point is what do you place in this is very important. Now, it would calculate in this region more, the inner one. So your identification your subject has to be the identical point has to be in this particular region, so that as the system searches, it would find and it would track it in the perfect manner. Okay. My. Okay. After that, I will go for analyzing. Okay. So the footage would be analyzed, and I could also see my the point has not. We could see that the point is almost, it is actually carrying the point. It's not missing anywhere. So it is perfect. So now after that, I would take all this data to be in one particular null object. Okay. I would call this target data. Okay. So I have one layer of this. And then I would come here. I have another option called edit target. So I'm editing this target and I am layering it to, I'm just copying it or uh, targeting that particular data to target data, and I'm saying OK to it. Okay. And then as you see in this tracking, I have done mostly the motion, the position of it. I don't do any rotation on scale, which is not required for me here. So I chose only the position of the track. So after that, and I'll take some of the few layers from here. So I would take this and then bring it here. Okay. Now this is done, so I can close this. After tracking is done, I can close that. And uh, there's one more step here and apply. Okay, I am targeting and I finish my targeting and I'll just apply. So it'll ask me X and Y. So I'll say yes to work it with, and it applies here. Okay, now it's done. After that, now I would parent this the Nivea cream, that particular picture, to the target data. So now so look at that. My entire the image is actually moving according to its motion. So that's where I was able to work very, and it is smoother, and I don't have any other disturbance also. So like this, I can fill all my other information also to it. And then say, that's it. Like this, we can do lots of tracking things. But as I told you, once again, that your footage is very important. The the selection of your footage is very important. It your footage and your particular, I think we were targeting the eye here, and it should not miss it should not miss the camera. It should be in front of the camera. It should not go and come back. It should be in front of the camera. Okay, it should not disappear anywhere in the frame. So that is the way you'll have a very smooth tracking, and it should be very, very much identical one. It cannot be of light colors, or maybe it should not be of having a background with mixed points. No, keep it very identical. So that's how you will be able to escape and get a smoother track. So, so you can experiment lots of other things. Please do experiment in tracking. Of course, we'll start learning. We'll have a couple of series of videos on this. We will learn this tracking from starting of this to 2D2, and then 3D, and then as well as planar tracking. We'll work on a couple of projects on tracking. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let me know if you have any doubts. Thank you. Bye.